Hello, everyone. Again, this is Antonio, and I'm coming at you with another exciting video. So, I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, but I was away from my desk because of the holidays. And now that I'm back, I want to get back into doing a lot more news. Reporting the news on this channel. For one reason, why I haven't been doing a lot of videos is because YouTube took the liberty of demonetizing my channel for 1 month. And now that I got my channel back, I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to keep this channel. Now, what we are talking about is the ever so spineless Ken Paxton. Now, some people may look around and say, Ken Paxton is my hero. Well, Ken Paxton has been a slime ball for quite some time. And that's just the way that I feel about Ken Paxton. Now, the title of the video clearly states that he does not prepare to testify at his hearing. And that's solely on Ken Paxton and how he want to go about doing things his way. But the question is, why is he being impeached in the first place? You're holding the second highest position of the largest state. Let me correct myself. The second largest state in our union, because Alaska is the largest, and then Texas is number 2, California number 3. You hold the second highest position in the number 2 largest state, and I believe the second highest total population being California is the number 1 population, and I believe Texas is number 2. Because everything is big in Texas, even the crimes that some people commit. Now, what I want to do is share my screen because Ken Paxton has, like I said again, he has been doing things to some people where his conservatism is not going to show favoritism for some of the people in the great state of Texas. And that is because how he treats people. Sometimes Ken Paxton just don't treat people in the great in the light that he wants to be treated now. Let me just put it that way. Now that we are getting past this point, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things. This is from June the 5th. Ken Paxton's impeachment hints at shaky support in Collin County, his longtime base of power. Now, what's interesting is Ken Paxton's wife is actually a state senator in the great state of Texas. And do she know of some of his shakiness, right? Because, like I said again, she is definitely she's going to have to vote whether her own husband is guilty or not. And I know it's shaky ground in that household right now because both of them being in politics and things like that, it's definitely shaky ground. But this is what I want to talk about, right? And I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I want to touch on this before we get to the, to the title point of this video. And that is when the Texas House of Representatives vote overwhelmingly to impeach Attorney General Ken Paxton. Now, they've been after Ken Paxton for a very long time. So long until every time he was able to get reelected. And as you know, governors and AGs, a lot of times, once you're elected, it's really hard to recall that vote. But in this case, I guess the Texas General Assembly said enough is enough. How long are we going to let him get away with this mischief? All right. So Attorney General Ken Paxton, in the waning days of a regular legislative session, some Texans were shocked that the 121 yes votes included every representative from Collin County, where voters and local leaders have long rallied behind the now suspended official's vocal brand of conservatism. The booming, largely suburban country north of Dallas have been Paxton's base of power as he climbed the state's political ranks from his first race for the Texas House to becoming the state's top lawyer. And while changing demographics, some erosion in Republican voting power, there have been coincided with allegations and scandals that piled up for Paxton. Collin County has still swung for him election after election. So remember, they have been after Ken Paxton for quite some time. This is not new to Ken Paxton. He very well knows that they have been after him. But in a unanimous vote to impeach Paxton by the 5 Republican representatives from Collin County, Frederick Frazier of McKinney, Jeff Leach of Plano, Matt Sheehan of Plano, Justin Holland of Rockwell, and Candy Noble of Lucas expose a statewide rift within the GOP that's apparently has been playing out in Paxton's backyard. So sometimes your own people have to stage a coup so you can get your wake-up call, and that's definitely what happened to Mr. Paxton in this highlight. It's been true that Paxton had the support of Collin County, but that support has been decreasing over the years. And when the crush came, it was simply no longer there, said Cal Gilson, a political science professor at Southern Methodist University who lives in Collin County. A Texas Attorney General has been impeached for years, though. A larger list of accusations against Paxton has grown. He's been under criminal indictment for the vast majority of his tenure in the statewide office. Do you get that? He was getting elected after elected after elected, but he has been under criminal indictment this whole time. So not only is this serious that Paxton may get impeached, but he may get indicted after this as well. That's why I'm making that's why I'm doing a story on this. The allegations detailed in 20 articles of impeachment accuse him of abusing the powers of his office and firing staff members who reported his alleged misconduct. This is why he's in the hot seat, people. Now, this is what we're talking about, because now Mr. Paxton is up for his trial is approaching. So people are saying, okay, would you testify to clear your name? Because this is serious. If he gets impeached, he may get indicted. And think about it. You're the top lawyer. It's a lot riding on this. Your family, because your wife is a state senator. She got a vote in your trial. Number 2, your freedom goes in this because you got 20 counts that's pending against you. These are serious allegations against him right now. All right, so the lead attorney for suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton said that his client would not testify in his upcoming impeachment trial in the Texas Senate. Paxton defense lawyer Tony Buzbee made the announcement in late Monday night statement on the eve of the July 4th holiday. The Senate could still try to force Paxton to testify, but the statement makes clear that Paxton would fight such efforts. Now, I want to know what's riding on him testifying or not. A lot of got to be riding on that, right? But let's carry on. All right, so we would not bow to the evil, illegal, and unprecedented weaponization of state power in the state chamber. Buzbee said of the House. A spokesperson for the chamber did not immediately respond to a request for commitment on the defense team's statement. So hold on right now. You got 20 counts of impeachment. You have had a hovering of misconduct for your whole tenure in office. The only thing that saved you from indictment is you are being elected over and over. So it had to be something that's going to come up in this trial, and we're going to cover this when the trial comes. We definitely going to cover this. What happened for this to come to a head? The House voted to impeach Paxton in late May, accusing him of years-long series of crime and misconduct. Most of the 20 articles of impeachment center on allegations from former deputies that Paxton misused his office to help a wealthy campaign donor and Austin real estate investor, Nick Paul. If I'm not mistaken, Nate Paul was just arrested. So they already arrested Nate Paul. Let me confirm. Was Nate Paul arrested? Let's see. I think he was already arrested. See, and this is what I'm talking about. So Nate Paul has already been arrested. So do you think that he's going to snitch on Ken Paxton? I guarantee that he's going to have to talk in his trial because he don't have the political backing that Ken Paxton does. Remember, Ken Paxton's wife is a state senator. Ken Paxton, Attorney General, is a lawyer. Let's read this briefly. This is from June 9th. Nate Paul charged with eight felony counts of making false statements to financial institutions. This does not help Ken Paxton's case. The Austin real estate investor was a central figure in allegations that led to the House, Texas House, to impeach Attorney General Ken Paxton last month. They better hope that they be cellmates the way that this looking. And I don't mean this is pun intended. I don't even know what I mean, but I know that they may be cellmates. But let's go here. Nate Paul, the Austin real estate investor, central to allegations of illegal conduct by suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton, has been charged with 8 counts of making false statements to financial institutions. Paul, 36. Damn, he looked old to be 36. Wow. A lot of stress there. Allegedly overstated his assets and understated his liabilities to fraudulently obtain loans, according to a 23-page indictment filed by federal prosecutors Friday. The government is seeking $172 million in restitution from Paul. U.S. Magistrate Judge Dustin Howell led out the charges, which focus on actions Paul took in 2017 and 2018 to allegedly mislead mortgage lenders and credit unions Friday morning to ensure Paul understood them. Paxton was not mentioned in the indictment, nor was discussed during a half-hour proceeding Friday in Austin's federal courthouse, where Paul appeared shackled and wearing a blue button-down shirt, jeans, and white Air Jordans. He answered Howell's questions softly, simply stating, "Yes, Your Honor." Now, Paul is due back in court June 15 for arraignment. He will be released today on conditions, including he surrender his passport and leave Texas only after notifying the judge. His in-state travel will be unrestricted. So let's get back to Ken Paxton. So you can see Nate Paul has already been arrested. And the only thing that's protecting Ken Paxton is his political backing. If that was me and you, we would be in prison a long time ago for the allegations that's coming up against Ken Paxton, because he tried to protect Nate Paul. But undoubtedly, it did not help in this case. All right. Paxton was immediately suspended from office, and the Senate has scheduled a September 5th trial on whether to permanently remove him. Late last month, the Senate approved rules for the trial that gave the presiding officer, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick Fanon, the power to compel the attendance of witnesses. The presiding officer can also issue subpoenas at the request of any of the parties or its lawyers. The rules ran counter to a number of things Paxton's lawyers had lobbied for, including prohibition on witness subpoenas and live testimony. After the House impeached him, Paxton said he was looking forward for a fair trial in the Senate. While Buzbee's statement is exclusively criticizes the House, it marks the first time Paxton has demonstrated any kind of resistance to the Senate's handling of the impeachment. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty of some other things against Mr. Paxton. I know this being a long video. Everybody that's tuning in with me, thank you. But let's keep going. Whether Paxton will testify in the trial has been a source of speculation given his ongoing legal battles and the potential he could provide information to the Senate that complicates those cases. He has been indicted on securities fraud charges since 2015. For 8 years, he already been indicted. But being the AG, you can't touch him. The only person could touch him is the governor, and the governor stayed out of it, right? And the FBI began investigating the claims by whistleblowers in his office after they came forward in 2020. In early June, about 2 weeks after Paxton's impeachment, Paul was indicted on charges he made false statements to financial institutions. Paul and Paxton lawyers have said the case has nothing to do with Paxton. Yeah, right. Buzbee's latest statement returns to a familiar argument from Paxton's team that focuses on the House impeachment process rather than specific allegations. The House has ignored. President denied him an opportunity to prepare his defense and now wants to ambush him on the floor of the Senate. Hell, you got 8 years. You've been indicted since 2015. You know this day was coming. All right. In criticizing the impeachment as illegal, Buzbee appears to be calling back to Paxton's argument that the impeachment is invalid because a state law says a state officer cannot be removed from office over something they did before their election to office. Paxton has argued that applies to anything he did before was reelected. Is he admitting guilt in this case? The House has argued that the so-called forgiveness doctrine does not apply to impeachment at all. Even if Paxton does not testify at the trial, it could still include high-profile testimony. One of the whistleblowers, Blake Brickman, said that last month he hoped to testify in person. At the time, the trial rules were still being crafted, and Paxton was voicing optimism that the Senate would give him a fairer venue than the House. After the House impeachment vote, Paxton claimed he wants a full accounting of the truth, Brickman said in a statement at the time. This begs the question, will Ken Paxton agree to testify on his own behalf, or will Ken Paxton continue to be a coward and hide behind his lawyers and their bogus process arguments? So, like I said again, the question is I have here, will Ken Paxton get a fair trial, or will Ken Paxton buckle under pressure and get he get his position back. I mean, he could have a valid point that House have moved him illegally. It remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: Ken Paxton has been under investigation for 8 years, and he's still committing crimes. And that's all I gotta say, folks. So I'm gonna stay on top of the story. This part of my series, Team Tiggio News. I'm gonna be more aggressive on reporting the news on this channel. Now that I got my channel back, I need to behave and do everything I need to do. So once again, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.